Hello everybody, I am Sama and I'm here to answer some of the most asked questions in the Facebook group that I have for IELTS preparation. So basically this video is for the beginners who are about to start their IELTS preparation. This video will contain information about what institution you should go for, AU or British Council IELTS, and what type of questions you can expect in each module, what band score you will require in particular country. So let's begin. We will start with what is IELTS. International English Language Testing System, and it is accepted over 140 countries. You can also go for TOEFL if you're applying for USA because it is more acceptable in USA. But IELTS is also accepted everywhere, so there is no problem. So we will have a short look on the IELTS requirement per country. For example, Canada, the IELTS score requirement is at least 6.5 with no band less than 5. When they say there should be no band less than 5, then you have to make sure that you don't have any band in reading, writing, listening, or reading that is below 5. Otherwise, you will have to retake the exam. And for USA 6.0 to 7.0, it differs from state to state, from university to university, or it can also differ from program to program. So you really have to look on the requirement page of your program where you're applying. They are just the general ones. And then New Zealand is 6.5 with no band less than 5.5. Australia is usually the easiest one. They usually ask for at least 5.5 in each module. And then UK overall 7 with no band less than 6.5. These are usually the academic IELTS requirements, but for general training and for immigration purpose, you usually need 8777. So you have to check the requirements yourself a little bit. Then type of IELTS, there are two type of IELTS. As I told you a little bit earlier about general training, it is usually for immigration and working purposes. And the second one is academic IELTS. So if you're going abroad for your studies, master's or PhD, you require academic IELTS. Both IELTS are more or less same, but there are some different questions. For example, in general training, you have to write a letter instead of a summary for a graph that you have to write in academic IELTS. And IELTS minimum band score differ from country to country and within country, as I told you earlier. It can also differ from program to program. So in the same university, different programs might have different IELTS requirement. So whenever you're applying, you have to go to their website and see what IELTS score is required for that particular program. Then we will move to the further type of IELTS. Again, there are two types. One is computer-based and one is paper-based. Both are exactly the same, questions are the same, content is the same, and the way to prepare them is also same. But the point is that which one you should choose. So if you have a really good handwriting and a lot of practice writing that we usually have, then you must go for paper-based IELTS. On the contrary, if you have a really good typing speed and you are familiar with computer or laptop, then you can go for computer based. One advantage that computer based has on paper based is the results will be given in 4 to 5 days maximum. So if you have a really tight timeline that your program requires result in 4 to 5 days, and you can go for computer based, because paper based IELTS usually require 14 days after the examination to give out the results. And the criteria for marking is exactly the same. Some people say that they give extra scores for computer based, but that is total myth. There is no such thing. Both type of files are evaluated using the same criteria, so there is no extra band given. We'll move to the institution selection. So there are two institutes that conduct IELTS. One is British Council, another one is AO, that is Australian one. So Australian one has a little bit more fees than British Council, but it also differs from country to country, but usually it's a little bit higher. And I personally recommend British Council. I will show you why. So which one is better? Um, why AU is better? They have professional assistants if you're applying to Australian universities. They will help you for finding a good degree or working procedure and everything. And then student can visit AU offices with ease. There are a lot of AU offices in big cities, not all the small towns, but in big cities you can go to AU offices and you can get some help. But a disadvantage they have is they have centers in a few cities, not as many as British Council, and it happens twice a month. And then the biggest disadvantage that I can think of is they provide no wireless headphones during listening exam, and I think that's the biggest disadvantage because your exam is the main priority. That is what you're paid for. That is what you paid for, and you must know that if there is a compromise on your exam, then you must not go for it. That's why I always prefer British Council, that they provide wireless headphones that ensure that you have proper listening exam. And then they also provide free study material, British Council, when once you register the exam, and that material is sufficient for your preparation. And British Council only accept communication through email, but I think that is not a big problem because they usually reply within a week or some, or like more or less 7 8 days working days, and you can always ask them questions if you have problems related to your fees and some other issues. You can also go to Standard Chartered Bank that is almost in every big city. And then British Council provide wide range of cities where you can take your IELTS exam. It it is much more common than the Australian one. So you don't have to travel to another city for the exam. That adds up the stress level because when you go for the exam, you're already stressed, and if you have to travel, that will ultimately increase your stress level. So it's better to choose British Council over AU. That's my personal experience. So we'll start with the basics. Maximum band score is 9, has 4 modules, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each module is 9, and your final score will be the cumulative average of all 4 modules. Then the listening exam. You will hear a recording, and you will have to answer 40 questions in response to 4 recordings. 4 recordings means 4 sections. So first section is a conversation between two people, is the easiest one. The audio will be in slow speed and everything be understandable. And then the second one is a little bit in fast speed and a monologue. Monologue is one single person talking or briefing about something, usually about a campus or facilities on a campus or something like that. And then the third part gets a little bit more difficult, a conversation between up to 4 people. It also include different accents, so it's a little bit tough to understand all of them. There might be an African person talking, a British person talking, or a person from a different background talking. So you really have to focus to get all the ideas. And then the fourth one is also a monologue, usually in a really high speed on academic subject. You have to catch on the vocabulary to answer the questions properly. So as you move from 1 to 4, the difficulty level also increases, in my personal opinion. And then the speaking exam, the examiner will ask you questions about yourself in the first part, and that is the most easiest part. So you can always master this part by practicing a lot of questions that I can also provide in the next video. The question will be about your hometown, your work, your studies, interests, and hobbies. So that's the most easiest one. You can prepare for it, not exactly memorize it, but you can get some ideas yourself. And the part two is a little bit difficult because it's a cue card section. That's what you call it, because a topic will be given to you and you will have 1 minute to prepare, and then you have to speak up to 4 minutes, up to 2 minutes. The examiner might ask you to stop earlier, or if he wants, he can ask you to go just continue speaking until they ask you to stop. So it varies from examiner to examiner. And the third part is usually the follow-up questions from the part two. So it's more like a discussion. So whatever you spoke in part two, examiner will construct questions, and then they will give you a chance to discuss. That will give you the opportunity to discuss ideas and issues, and let the examiner judge the English level of yours in a better way. And this part usually lasts from 4 to 5 minutes. The whole speaking exam is of around 15 to 20 minutes. It can happen that your speaking exam is 1 or 2 days earlier than your rest of the modules, or it can also happen that you have all 4 modules on the same day. So how your speaking will be assessed? Let's see at the indicators. First one is fluency and coherence. You must know the definition of fluency, that is speech rate and speech continuity. It does not include speaking speed. If if you think that speaking with high speed means fluency, it does not mean that. You must connect your one word to another one without making a lot of mistakes, and you make good sentences with proper connectors. That is what a fluency is. And coherence is that you must know that your first sentence makes sense to the second one. So there is no abrupt ending, and they must mean or may have a similar meaning. So logical sequencing of the sentences is really, really important. And then the lexical resources, that how well you can use vocabulary. Are you using really basic language or basic words, or you use some hi-fi words to improve or showcase your skills? And the precision, that how well you use them. You cannot just smash the words, some good vocabulary words in your speaking that does not make sense in the sentence. So you really have to make sure that if you are putting some really good words, you have to make sure that they fit there and they don't look like uh, they're just smashed in there just to gain some extra marks. And then grammatical range and accuracy. Grammar is the basic thing that need to be improved. So you have to really work on your grammar. So if you have grammatical mistakes, is, MR, has been, have been, then it means that you have a really strong, really loose basics, and that will result in a lot of marks reduction. So you have to focus on your grammatical range while speaking. And then the pronunciation. So sometimes people take the idea that pronunciation means accent. Accent is not important. You don't have to talk in American or British accent. Your accent is all good. You don't have to worry about the accent. Some people think that, oh, this might result in marks reduction. If you're in India, your Indian accent will do the job. If you're in Bangladesh or in Pakistan or in Africa or in Europe, wherever you are, your accent does not matter, because the examiner might also be from the same region and they might have the same accent. So all you have to focus is how much strain you're causing to the listener. Will they understand everything you're saying? That's enough. So let's move to the writing exam. It's also the toughest one, because you have to make sure that you have written in formal English with all the good vocabulary and everything. So we'll quickly go through the introduction. In the first part, task one, you have to describe some visual information, graph, table, chart, or diagram in your own words. Again, in your own words. And then you have to write 150 words in about 20 minutes. And in task two, there will be a topic, academic, semi-formal. It won't be very specific. It would be more general, so it can be given to a large or diverse audience. So it won't be about nursing or something that you can that a person from the nursing background have an edge on the rest of the people. So it would be very, very general, so everybody can understand and give their opinion. Then you have to write 250 words in about 40 minutes. So the whole exam is of 60 minutes. Things to keep in mind for writing. They are really, really important. I really dig up some website and everything to find all this information. Writing too short will result in marks reduction. So if they said that you have to write 150 words and you're writing 140, you will lose marks. So if you write more words than required, this will not result in marks reduction. So you always have to make sure that you wrote at least 10, 15, or 20 extra words in both tasks. And you should not spend too much time on task one, because task two contributes twice as much to the band score as task one. So you have to focus on your task two more than your task one. Complete your task one in 15 to 16 minutes, and then move to the task two as much earlier as you can. And marks will be deducted if the answer is out of the topic given. So if they are talking about obesity, obesity percentages in the first graph, and you are talking that, oh, obesity is bad for health, and obesity will affect the cholesterol and everything. If that is not given in the paragraph or in the chart, then the marks will be deducted, and you have to make sure that whatever is given in the graph, you have to stay focused on the information given. You must not write anything from yourself. And marks will also be deducted for plagiarism. If they think that you copy pasted something or memorized something, they will deduct your marks. And then again, how your writing will be evaluated. Task achievement. If your task is complete, it means if you have wrote 150 words or you wrote less than 150 words, and how well you achieved your task. So if they ask you in part 2 that you write, you give opinion if the statement is true or false, and you only write about the true and not write anything about the false side of the statement, then the task is also incomplete. And then again, the task response, how well you responded to the task, how well you understood the question, and how well you answered. And again, the cohesion and coherence is really, really important, and it is important in all the modules. How well your sentences are structured, how well they are connected, how many connectors you have used. For example, you can use as well as in addition to this to properly connect your sentence. However, moreover, these are the connectors you can use to connect your two sentences. And then lexical resources, how well of a vocabulary you can use, and if it even fit in the sentence. um, you must use at least 4, 5, or 6 good words that are not from informal English or some really basic English. You have to make it look like that you have a really good understanding of the English. And then the last one is again the grammatical range and accuracy. When they say grammatical range, they means how diverse is your English. So you're not only writing in present tense. You can go into present indefinite or present continuous. You can also go to past tense. You can also go to perfect tense. So you have to use different type of vocabulary if need be. If they asked something that can be answered in the basic sentences, you must go for that one. But if you can just try to use a range of grammatical vocabulary and use it with accuracy. Try to make minimum errors. And one other thing, do focus on capitalization, because this is really, really important. We sometimes do not focus on that, but that also result in marks deduction. Commas, semicolons, apostrophe, really, really important. Do focus on that. And the last one is again the reading exam. The text would be taken from journal, magazines, newspaper, and have to be written for a non-specialist audience. That means that it would be really, really general, won't be from nursing or from agriculture or something. So the people from that background understand it better and have an edge on the people who are from a different background. So it would be really general, so you can all answer it. And then you will have 60 minutes to complete 60 questions. Again, 1 hour is mistaken here, I will correct it. And then you will have to transfer your answer to your answer sheet, and no extra time will be allowed. So in listening exam, I will tell you a little bit that for listening and reading, there will be given answer sheet. You have to transfer your answers from question paper to answer sheet. In listening exam, they will give you 10 minutes to uh, transfer your answers from question to answer sheet, but in reading exam, no extra time will be allowed. So in 60 minutes, you have to answer the questions and then write them on the answer sheet. So there are more chances for errors, and sometimes you miss the one MCQ or one question, and then you change the arrangement of the answers, and then that will result in marks deduction. So you have, what I recommend is that you directly write your answers from question paper to the answer sheet, so you don't have to do it afterwards. And then again, your marks will be deducted for poor grammar and spelling. If your spelling is correct, if your spellings are incorrect, your marks will be deducted even if your answer is correct. So you have to make sure that you write the right spellings. And then if you're writing in a really bad handwriting, your answer will considered as wrong, so your effort will be wasted. So you have to make sure that your writing in the your handwriting is good and understandable. Do not cause strain to the readers. Type of questions you can expect: multiple choice, very common. Identify information, identify the writer's view or claim, not that common. Match the heading, very, very important. You have to look for mock exam that can give you enough practice for match the headings. I will explain how you can master this in upcoming videos. And then matching sentence endings. It's not really common, but you can expect them. Sentence completion, summary completion, table completion, a flowchart completion. That is also really, really important. So if you haven't practiced it yet, try to find mock exams that can um, try to find those mock exam that have flowchart completion. So you have practice enough if that question appears in the exam. And then diagram label completion is also really, really important and sometimes asked in the exam, and then short answer questions. And that's all for today and for this video. Thank you so much for listening, and please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the comment. You can also write me a message on Facebook. I will share the link in the bio, and I will also share the link for the Facebook group to stay updated. Thank you so much.